Hey leader, we just wrapped up an awesome video explaining the power of employees first, customers second as a business philosophy. And I know this is a controversial one that leads to a lot of questions. We couldn't answer them in the shortness of the original video, so we made a second video to get some of those frequently asked questions answered. Here we go. I think we need to make a distinction here about whose job it is to obsess over the customer. We're certainly not ignoring the customer, but I promise you that Jeff Bezos at Amazon and other organizations, he doesn't actually know deeply and intimately what customers want anymore. There are dedicated people in the value zone in an organization like that whose job it is to obsess over the customer, and leaders at higher levels or in support functions, it's their job to listen to those people so that they can glean the insights that shape the strategic direction. So absolutely obsess over the customer, but certain people in certain roles, that's who's obsessing over the customer. And everybody else's job is to support those people. So there's really two metrics you have to pay attention to just to make sure that there is a strong correlation between employee loyalty and customer loyalty in your organization. First metric is employee engagement. Right? You want to know, are your people actually engaged? That can be Gallup Q12, that can be something from Culture Amp. There's a myriad of great vendors who have employee engagement scores. And the second would be the Net Promoter Score idea to your customers, right? Looking at how many customers would be likely to recommend your service, your business to others, and then how many people would not, and what's the difference between those, and ultimately the Net Promoter Score, the overall score of your company. Those two numbers, if you're a true service organization, those two numbers should be highly correlated. You're going to see it very quickly, that upticks in employee engagement predict upticks in your Net Promoter Score, and downticks predict downticks, the whole deal, right? So you're going to be looking at those. If you're not already giving out those surveys to employees and to customers, let's start there, and then you'll be able to see the correlation within a quarter or two. I think the thing I love about HCL Technologies as a case study is not necessarily that they flipped the whole hierarchy, right? Because it's a hard thing to do, and it's amazing that a company that large did it. You're probably not going to be able to do it in your organization. But that accountability mentality, right? That I need feedback from all of my people, and I need to weight the feedback from the people underneath me higher. Most organizations, let's just be honest, most bosses care a lot about what their boss thinks of them and not as much about their employees. Just that mentality flip can have a huge difference on your own leadership, right? That what your people say about you should be weighted higher than what your boss thinks about you. And by the way, the more you focus in on what your people say about you and how they evaluate your leadership, the better your boss is probably going to evaluate your leadership anyway. But I would just start there. I think that's the easiest thing to do, is make that own personal mental shift between the idea that I don't work to impress this person, I work to support these people. And so their feedback, that gets my top priority. I think there's a misconception here. Employees first, customers second doesn't mean you're just giving employees free rein to do whatever they want, to treat customers however they want, etc. What it means is that we're still going to enforce any of the performance metrics and all of the accountability we had before. But as managers and those in support functions, we're going to make sure that our job is to remove the friction and get the resources to people to achieve those things. So in a way, accountability should go up because we're making it more likely people are actually going to achieve the results that we have tasked them with achieving, right? That's going to increase customer satisfaction, not only in the long term, but in the short term as well. Now, if you make the mistake of thinking this means blanket amnesty and total autonomy for all your employees, well, yeah, okay, then you might have short-term decreases in customer satisfaction. But that's not what this is. This is about empowering people to achieve what they were hired to achieve. Obviously, service organizations, where you're not selling a product, you're providing a service, those are the ones that are tailor-made for employees first, customers second. But the truth is, any retail organization, any operation where you are repeatedly engaging with customers, there are certainly some industries where you're just looking for a one-off transaction, right? There are whole companies that have focused on just being the low-cost provider for that one interaction and still finding a way to make a profit. So yes, that's a strategy. But pretty much any time what you want in your business model is for customers to come back to you multiple times, well, then you need to focus in on your value zone and the employees whose job it is to serve those customers, even if it means selling something, whose job it is to serve those customers, because they're the ones that are going to make the customers satisfied enough to come back and increase that customer loyalty. One of the weirdest mistakes throughout a whole organization we see when trying to implement this is that management sees it. They get it. Okay, my job is to help the people who actually increase sales, who actually service customers. But they don't bring along the support functions with them, right? It's not our job to be accountable to HR. It's HR's job to serve us as we're trying to create the right work environment, put in the right employee satisfaction metrics in place. And by the way, everyone in HR would agree with me on this idea. But often we don't think about that. We don't think about bringing along the finance function whose job it is to make sure expenses get reimbursed quickly and that sort of thing. So it's not just about management flipping their mentality. You can make a lot of gains in that regard, but if you're really gonna go deep on employees first, customer second, you need to make sure you're paying attention to those support functions as well, and that they really do see their job as supporting value zone employees so those employees can support customers. Yeah, I totally empathize with CEOs whose job it is to make sure that they actually stay in the black, that they actually turn a profit, meet their quarterly projections, et cetera. There's a lot of pressure on the people in the C-suite to make their numbers, whether you're a publicly traded company or not. And especially when you're in a soft economy or an economy that might be on the borderline of a recession, it can be really tempting to go, well, this is something we do when times are good, but right now we need to buckle down and we need to focus in. The problem is, if you don't implement it as soon as you can, you're gonna end up having a competitor. You run the risk of having a competitor become a talent magnet for all of those great employees, right? I know it doesn't feel like it, but talent has the power in the knowledge work economy right now. Especially as we're trying to call people back to the office, but people still want to work remotely, et cetera. The people that focus in on getting employees what they want to have a fulfilling career and what they need to do their best work, those companies are going to become talent magnets. So it's sort of like that old proverb, right? Like, best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Best time to go employees first, customer second was 10 years ago. Second best time was, well, I guess it would have been 19 years and 364 days ago. But you get what I mean. It might as well start now, because if you just wait till times are good, you might not have the money to do it. You might not even be in business at that point.
If you're looking to lead smarter, then subscribe to my channel right here for more helpful insights just like this. And if you've got a question or a problem, leave a comment below. I'm here and this channel is here to help you build your best team ever.